Hello again, this is Kevin with ConvoActive, and this time we're going to be talking about blame. I love this one because, like so many things, it's just something gets out in the ethos or out in the world, and everybody just goes with it. And for example, there was a book, oh gosh, back in the 90s, I believe, thereabouts, and it was called Don't Sweat the Small Stuff. And the title is just it seems really cool, right? Don't sweat the small stuff. And people just went with that, just ran with that. Just for example, greed is good, and greed is not good. Greed is awful. If you look at it for the whole of society, there's probably no, I'm almost certain there's nothing worse actually than greed. From it's a human condition that's a sickness, not much unlike having a bad addiction that will eventually if it's just one person, it can kill off the body. Greed is like a sickness that can actually take down entire societies. So as we're sort of almost witnessing here, so this don't sweat the small stuff is another one of those. That sounds good. Like a nice little catchphrase. And just everybody went with it. And of course, if you don't sweat the small stuff, unless you're like a millionaire, billionaire, where to me it would be like, yeah, that would be kind of like, really, you've got this. You've got more money than you could spend in probably 10,000 lifetimes. Yeah, don't sweat the small stuff. Like, my shrubs need trimmed. But for most people, the average person out here just trying to get by, especially if you got a family and stuff, if you don't sweat the small stuff, to kind of take care of things, even be proactive and taking care of the small stuff, well, before you know it, you're sweating the big stuff. It gets big real fast. I always like an analogy is if you're driving, for example, there's a lot going on there. You've got to look wide. You got to be able to see what's happening all around, and then you pull back and you're looking at more of the focus. You go back and forth. Well, it would be the same thing to say to a driver, don't worry about the stuff that's close to you. Just keep going, big broad view. Just ignore all these other little cues, and somebody's got their turn signal on next to you and stuff. The next thing you know, you'd be in an accident. Well, that's what happens in life if you don't sweat the small stuff. So anyway, but the book sold gazillions. The guy that did it is considered to be just this genius, and it's like, does anybody realize really what kind of almost like a hoax, the trick that was played on him. But this is about blame. This blame, you only have yourself to blame. You only have yourself to blame. That's it. No matter what happens, you only have yourself to blame. This is everybody just gone with the wind on this. Almost probably you ask 4 out of 5 people, do you think that's true? And they go, oh, yeah, for sure. You only have yourself to blame. If anybody's ever thought about how absurd that statement is, it's stuff like this drives me crazy because people, like I said, they take off with these things. They don't really stop and think. And the next thing you know, it's sending people in the wrong direction. So I really want to address this. Sometimes it's true. You only have yourself to blame. And for some people, they seem to do the same things. They almost are in a mode of they just can't seem to do right for doing wrong. Without going into a lot of detail of all these things, you get the idea. Sometimes people do wrong and they just can't seem to have, there's no consequences for it. There's just no problem. We see this now being played out here in 2024 with somebody who just seems to just never do anything right and just seems to everything just goes very well for them. And this just happens that this is a very high profile situation, but this has been going on forever. It's kind of like this karma thing. Well, to that ruthless drug lord who has 20,000 dead bodies of decent people that were just got in his way, that thought they might try to end his reign of terror or whatever. Those people are dead, and that drug cartel is 88 years old, let's say, and in his nice villa with the swimming pool and all the beautiful girls still walking around. This karma, it's the same sort of thing as you only have yourself to blame. It's nonsense. It is nonsense. I don't know. Oh, karma's going to get you. Karma. Think about it. Good things happen to bad people all the time, and sometimes it just seems like they just have it's endlessly good things keep happening to them, and they keep being endlessly really bad people. Conversely, really bad things happen to good people who have absolutely, they're just wonderful people, and really bad things happen. And sometimes bad things happen to bad people and good things happen to good people. So this karma stuff, it's, again, please, people, don't just grab onto something and just accept it as gospel without really kind of drilling down a little. I think we suffer this. We suffer this as we really pay the price, I should say, for this sort of not really thinking about what is really going on before we jump on board and go full tilt boogie. So this blame thing is you only have yourself to blame. I think in some cases, maybe a lot of cases, that's probably true. It's like, look, you did this, you broke into this house, and you harmed this person. Next thing you know, you're in the court system, and you're just like, you end up in prison, and you do all these things. You just can't. You can't get out of your own way, and then it just gets worse and worse. Well, all right, but that's, again, it can go the other way. You can be really awful, and they just they make you king. So the person, there's a lot of times when good people end up in really bad circumstances, and it just seems to almost snowball. But I'm telling you, it's not because of anything. It's because a lot of times of actions of other people that they've had to deal with, that they're not getting a fair treatment with. They're just too nice of a person, and therefore people just seem to walk all over them, take advantage of them, and maybe they're just not really smart. They're not unable to kind of navigate a situation where, quite frankly, there's people who, again, just want to kind of use and abuse them. And so they end up in a situation where, really, if they worked with decent people or were surrounded by good people, their lives would be maybe really doing well. But because of the actions and intentions of other people who are not really, not good people, they're not doing so well. And so you only have yourself to blame. It's like, what are these people supposed to do? I mean, unless they just get to be mean, rotten, inconsiderate people. Maybe that's the name of the game for some people. Like, yeah, you're just not, you don't lie enough. You're not tough enough. You're not like a vulture culture. That seems to me to be a kind of the thing. But think about this too. You only have yourself to blame. What about people who are in situations where they absolutely have no choice over their dismal life? They're born into poverty, and they have no opportunities, and they struggle like you can't believe. Some people maybe walk 6, 7, 8 miles a day just to get water. They just cannot improve their lot. There's not the resources, there's not the apparatus, the infrastructure, whatever. Could we say the same thing to these people? It's absurd. You only have yourself to blame. Here again, I want to make it clear. In some cases, this is true. People is like, come on, what do you expect? You get this job and you never show up. You're always late, and the next thing you know, they have to let you go, and you're like, I don't care, And you borrow money from people. You just don't even get back to them. Yeah, there's that. That is true. But this has gotten to be just a blanket thing. Like no matter who you are, no matter how hard you're trying to achieve things, if you're not achieving them, it's just like, well, you have only yourself to blame. No, no. If you're having to be in a world where you're having to interact with all kinds of different people and all kinds of circumstances, heck, maybe you just got this house, you and your wife finally were able to get into this house, and a hurricane comes along and just obliterates it. And you're sitting there like, gosh, we don't have any, we don't know when the insurance is going to cover this, and we don't even know how much of it they will. All this, well, you only have yourself to blame. Come on. No. Sometimes you do, but sometimes you don't. Don't just buy that. And if you're a good, decent person and you're working hard to get somewhere in life, and somebody says to you, you only have yourself to blame, no. That's as dumb as it's just a stupid, thoughtless statement. When applied to you, if you are that person. And it is to say, don't sweat the small stuff. No, if you don't sweat the small stuff, pretty soon it becomes big stuff. And greed isn't good. So anyways, I just wanted to get this out there to tell people, if you are getting this sort of like, and you're starting to feel like, oh man, it is me. It's me. You think about it. Make sure it is really you, because if it's not, it's going to send you in the wrong direction. You may, in fact, be a very good person, doing everything right. There's certain things of fate and people that come in between you and your success, as it is. And I think too often people, good people, get this, it's only me to blame, and I think it can just take them down. And it's really sad when that happens. I think it happens a lot. Then that's what I'm saying. Anyways, if you want to have, by the way, of course, I am the host on ConvoActive. We have about, as I speak, 12 different services. So if you just want to ever talk to me, just go to ConvoActive.com and set up a time, and I'd love to talk with you. You'll see it's almost everything under the sun we can talk about. And if you need motivation or you just need somebody to listen, that's something I always want to say. Even though when I'm doing these, I'm like talking a mile a minute. When I'm talking with people, of course, I shift gears. I become much more of a listener than a talker. I just help people kind of get out of their own way sometimes, and sometimes just offer little tips and suggestions, little ideas, some things to contemplate and think about. So anyways, that's all for now. Thank you very much, and have a great rest of the day. And if you're not doing anything wrong, don't blame yourself, okay? You're not to blame, really. All right. Thanks a lot. Catch you on the next one, all right? Bye-bye.